This week in NASCAR has been one of those weeks where you wake up, check the news, and you're like, wait, what just happened? Because in just a matter of days, we've seen a huge opportunity open up for a driver that a lot of fans never expected to see in a big NASCAR seat. We've got a serious health situation that's suddenly sidelining a Cup Series driver right before a race weekend. And on top of that, NASCAR just handed out a suspension that could seriously shake up one of the teams heading into Phoenix. And when you look at all three of these stories together, it actually says a lot about where the sport is right now. The new faces trying to break in, the pressure these drivers are under every single week, and how quickly things can go sideways for a team. So today, we've got three big NASCAR stories to talk about. And trust me, one of them involves a name that a lot of racing fans from YouTube already know very well. But before we jump into it, real quick, if you're a real NASCAR fan and you enjoy talking racing like this, go ahead and drop a like on the video and consider subscribing. This channel's brand new. We're trying to build a community of real NASCAR fans, and the first goal is hitting 500 subscribers. Alright, now let's talk about the first story, because this one is honestly pretty wild. If you've been following both NASCAR and the car world on YouTube, Garrett Mitchell, who most people know as Cletus McFarland, is officially making his debut in the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series in 2026, and he's doing it with none other than Richard Childress Racing. Yeah, that Richard Childress Racing. His first race with the team is scheduled for April 4th at Rockingham, and he'll be driving the number 33 Chevrolet sponsored by Tommy's Express, which is a national car wash chain. For Cletus, this is a massive moment. If you've been around the car scene on YouTube for a while, you already know this guy built a huge following doing drag racing, wild car builds, and insane automotive stunts. He started his YouTube channel all the way back in 2009, and today he has more than 4.65 million subscribers and over 1,700 videos on the channel. But this NASCAR opportunity didn't just come out of nowhere. Earlier this year, he made his NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series debut at Daytona International Speedway, driving the number 4 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. And honestly, things started pretty promising. He was actually running inside the top 10 early in the race, but unfortunately it all went sideways pretty quickly when he got caught up in a crash on lap 6, which ended his day and dropped him to a 37th place finish. Not exactly the debut he wanted, but it definitely got people's attention. Now he's getting a much bigger opportunity with Richard Childress Racing. Cletus said that getting the chance to run for such a legendary NASCAR organization is literally a dream come true for him. He talked about how honored he feels to learn from people like Richard Childress, along with the leadership group at the team, including Mike Verlander and Danny Lawrence back at their headquarters in Welcome, North Carolina. And he also made it clear how important the sponsorship is for this moment. Tommy's Express will be on the car for his debut, and Cletus said the brand really fits what they're trying to build, something fast, performance-driven, and connected with fans. But here's another interesting detail that a lot of people didn't expect. This deal with RCR isn't full-time. Cletus actually confirmed on his Facebook page that this is a part-time agreement, at least for now. The current plan is 3 races per year, though there's definitely the possibility that it could grow into something bigger if things go well. And the crazy part is, RCR actually reached out to him first. According to Cletus, they basically told him they wanted to help develop him as a driver and give him a real opportunity to grow in NASCAR. And his response? Pretty much exactly what you'd expect from Cletus. He said something along the lines of, "Hell yeah, brother!" He also revealed that his sponsorship deal with Tommy's Express Car Wash is part of a 2-year contract, which means we'll likely be seeing him around NASCAR events for a while. And on top of that, he's still racing part-time in the ARCA Menards Series. Back in 2025, he ran ARCA races at Daytona, Talladega, Charlotte, and Bristol, continuing to build experience in stock cars while still balancing his massive YouTube career. But honestly, one of the most emotional parts of the story has nothing to do with the contract itself. It has to do with Greg Biffle. Cletus shared that the one thing he wishes more than anything is that Greg Biffle could have seen this moment. As many fans remember, Biffle tragically died in a plane crash on December 18, 2025. The two of them actually became close friends after working together during the Hurricane Helene relief efforts in 2024. And that friendship quickly grew through their shared love of motorsports. They started collaborating on several automotive projects, drag racing, car builds, and other crazy stunts, which also helped introduce a lot of Cletus's audience to NASCAR culture. When Biffle passed away, it hit the racing community hard, and Cletus was actually one of the speakers at his memorial service back in January at the Bojangles Coliseum in Charlotte. So this moment with Childress Racing clearly means a lot more to him than just another race. And honestly, it's going to be fascinating to see how NASCAR fans react when he hits the track at Rockingham. Because whether you love the idea of YouTube personalities entering NASCAR or you're skeptical about it, one thing is absolutely certain: he brings a massive audience with him, and that could actually be a really big deal for the sport. Now let's move to the second story, and this one is a lot more concerning for a major Cup Series team. Alex Bowman will not be racing this weekend at Phoenix Raceway. Hendrick Motorsports announced on March 5th that Bowman has been diagnosed with vertigo, and he has not been medically cleared to compete in Sunday's Straight Talk Wireless 500. The symptoms actually started last weekend during the road course race at Circuit of the Americas. Bowman began feeling ill during the race and eventually had to exit the car on lap 71. After that, he went through 2 days of medical evaluation, and the team even had him turn laps in a street car at the 1010 Motorsports Park road course in Concord, North Carolina, to see how he felt behind the wheel. But after those evaluations, doctors ultimately decided he should not race this weekend. That means the number 48 Chevrolet will be driven by Anthony Alfredo. Alfredo is 26 years old and already has a decent amount of NASCAR experience. He's made 210 starts across NASCAR's National Series, including 43 races at the Cup Series level. He also does a lot of simulator testing for Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet, so he's already very familiar with the team and the equipment. Still, this situation is definitely frustrating for Alex. He's from Tucson, Arizona, so Phoenix is basically his home track. And according to Hendrick Motorsports president Jeff Andrews, Alex really wanted to be in that car this weekend, but the team made it clear that his health comes first. Jeff Andrews said Bowman has been working extremely hard over the last few days, and they're encouraged by the progress he's making, but they simply can't risk putting him back in the car until he's fully cleared. Right now, there's no official timeline for his return. And unfortunately, this is happening at a really tough moment for Bowman. He's currently sitting 36th in the Cup Series standings after a slow start to the 2026 season. On top of that, Bowman has already dealt with serious injuries in previous seasons, including a concussion and a fractured vertebrae in his back, which forced him to miss races before. The good news is that Hendrick Motorsports plans to request a medical waiver from NASCAR, which would allow Bowman to remain eligible for the 2026 Cup Series Championship, despite missing this race. Still, losing a race this early in the season is never ideal. Now, let's talk about the third story, because this one involves Ross Chastain and Trackhouse Racing, and it comes after a pretty chaotic moment at Circuit of the Americas. NASCAR has officially suspended 2 members of Chastain's pit crew during a dangerous incident during last Sunday's race. The 2 crew members are rear tire changer Kenneth Posega and jackman Josh Applebee, and both of them will be suspended for the next 2 Cup Series races. The reason? During lap 75 at COTA, the right rear wheel on Chastain's number 1 Trackhouse Racing car came loose under green flag conditions. And according to NASCAR's rulebook, specifically section 8.8.10.4, If a wheel comes off the car after leaving pit road, 2 members of the pit crew automatically receive a 2-race suspension. During the race itself, Chastain had already been penalized 2 laps for the incident. That penalty absolutely destroyed their race and dropped him to a 35th place finish. Now the situation gets even harder because Trackhouse will have to go into the next 2 races without 2 key pit crew members, including this weekend at Phoenix Raceway. And Phoenix is a big one. This race is the 3rd event of the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series, and the weekend is going to be packed because the track will also host IndyCar and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So for Ross Chastain and Trackhouse Racing, the pressure is definitely going to be higher than usual. And when you step back and look at all 3 of these stories together, it really shows how unpredictable NASCAR can be. You've got a YouTube star stepping into a major opportunity with a legendary team. You've got a